Some stories start with a crime, but this one starts on a quiet evening in Kathmandu, and it ends with a question that's just been ticking away unanswered for decades. And that quote, it really gets to the heart of what we're about to dive into. A case where the truth, well, it seems just as slippery as time itself. So yeah, this is one of those stories. It takes us to the ancient city of Bhaktapur. And here, a single tiny object, something you wouldn't even look at twice, became the one and only witness to a murder that's never been solved. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're talking about a case that's been called for a long time, but it all started with something that completely rocked this quiet, tight-knit community. And in the end, it just left behind this silence, A silence just filled with questions. And at the center of this whole thing is a man named Suraj Manandar. From everything we know, he was a kind, quiet jeweler. Everybody in the neighborhood knew him, respected him. He didn't have any enemies, just the kind of guy you'd never, ever imagine would be touched by violence. Which, of course, makes what happened next just so baffling. So the next morning, investigators walk into Suraj's shop, and it's just silent. And for them, it was a real head-scratcher. I mean, a violent crime had definitely happened there, no doubt about it, but the scene itself, it was clean, almost sterile. Think about this. The motive wasn't robbery. Not a single piece of gold, not one coin was missing. The murder weapon? Gone. Fingerprints? Nope, not a single one. From a forensics perspective, it was like a ghost had been there. It was the perfect crime. Well, almost. Because in the middle of this perfectly clean crime scene, they found one thing that just didn't belong. And this one single clue would end up defining the entire mystery. It was something small, kind of mundane really, but it held the secret to Suraj Manandar's final moments. A secret that was literally frozen at one very specific moment in time. 10:42, that's the time, 10:42 p.m. The investigators were pretty sure this was the exact moment of death. Why? Because they found a broken wristwatch right next to the body, stopped at that time. For a minute there, it must have felt like a classic open and shut case, right? But here's the twist. That watch, it wasn't Suraj's. And with that one little fact, the entire case just took a massive turn. So if it wasn't the victim's watch, whose was it? Well, the investigation pretty quickly zeroed in on the one person who is connected to both the victim and the watch, a young man who, well, he had just vanished into thin air. His name was Kiran. He was Suraj's apprentice. The watch was his. And he was gone. I mean, boom. Instantly, he's the prime suspect. The only suspect. Case closed, right? Not so fast. Pinning down a clear motive, turns out that was impossible. With no real facts, rumors just started swirling everywhere. Was he a thief who stole gold and ran? No, the shop's accounts were totally clean. Was he secretly in love with the jeweler's daughter? Maybe. Or what about this one? Was Suraj about to expose him for selling fake gold? Every theory painted a totally different picture of Kiran, and none of them, not one, could be proven. Just like Kiran himself, the truth had just vanished. And that really should have been the end of it. Cold case, missing suspect, story over. But this story was nowhere near done. Years later, a bunch of really bizarre things started happening that dragged this whole case right back into the light. So the case goes cold, but it never really dies. Let's look at the timeline. First, the night of the murder, Kiran vanishes, leaving his watch. Then 6 months go by, and this super cryptic anonymous letter shows up at the police station. And then, years later, something impossible happens with that watch. This was the first line of the letter, typed, untraceable. Time stopped because truth couldn't move. Wow. I mean, that's poetic, but it's also deeply, deeply unsettling. It's like the person who sent it knows way more than they're saying. And then at the very bottom of the page, there's this handwritten warning. Just 3 words. Don't look for me. It's so chilling. It's like a taunt to the police, but it also just slams the door on any hope of a confession. After that, the case officially went cold.
Okay, so fast forward years. An officer is cleaning out an old evidence locker and he finds Kieran's watch. Now get this. It's a simple mechanical watch, no battery. It's been sitting dormant in a box for years. And yet, it was ticking. But the hands weren't moving, they were stuck. Frozen on that one single fateful time, 10:42.
I mean, a haunted watch? That would be a strange enough ending for any story, right? But it doesn't end there. There is one final, really unsettling chapter that brings this whole mystery right into the present day. So get this. Just last year, an old shopkeeper in Bhaktapur, he swears he saw someone he recognized. He said it was Kieran. Older, yeah, a bit thinner, but he had the exact same unforgettable eyes. And the final detail? The shopkeeper said he saw something on the man's wrist, the very same watch. Which just leaves us with this final, lingering question, doesn't it? In a story where the line between what's real and what's folklore has gotten so blurry, what is it that truly refuses to die? Is it the man who is haunting the past, or is it the watch? It's a mystery that, just like that watch itself, just keeps ticking.